Attention, bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen! Hello, yodelers. We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I'm your host today, Peter, with my co-host
Jackie
and
Japheth
and
Father Yodeler.
And today we're going back to our comfy Imagineering chairs. We're going to be armchair Imagineers again. Armchair Imagineers, yes. And we're continuing on our series of demoing entire lands and building brand new ones. And so we kind of we've done Tomorrowland, we've done Adventureland. Let's say we've done Animal Kingdom. We did, was it the Dino Land, which is now no longer a thing now.
You're welcome.
Right? That was all because of us.
Mm-hmm.
The fans loved it, but we were like, nope.
I think
better.
We did Fantasyland. I think that was the first one you did, was the Fantasyland one. And so this time we decided to do Liberty Square at Disney World.
It's really dulled down over the years.
Well, has it ever been vibrant?
I'm sure when it first opened.
I think it's almost excessive because you've got the American Pavilion and Epcot, which kind of covers that kind of theme, and also the fact that politics has gotten to the point that having an animatronic of the current president is dangerous.
Well, in fact, like I'm seeing all these videos of people like talking about like what they do to try to like damage the animatronic. Like it's crazy.
That's why I say,
and it's like
it's getting too much.
Yeah.
And so we're reimagining it.
And the clam chowder there at the tavern. My goodness. The destruction that is done.
Right?
And I'm not
See my bathroom?
On a warm Florida day, clam chowder.
And I'm wondering, does the clam chowder, the ocean atmosphere there really work now that they've removed Tom Sawyer Island and the rivers of America?
That's really
it's kind of like, does that really fit there anymore?
Yeah.
Losing the Mark Twain, really. No, it wasn't the Mark Twain. It was something else.
The Liberty Bell.
I think they
Lily Bell.
Yeah, as soon as they lost that, it's like, oh wow, you're, and now the river. It's just like,
What's the point?
What are you trying to hold on to here? You've lost that transition of American history right there.
But like with the reasonings of why it just doesn't fit anymore, I really had a hard time coming up with ideas.
Oh, I had one to actually change, and I think it was mostly probably you, like, triggered that idea of, like, what could keep it there.
Mm-hmm.
One thing was they shut down the shooting range.
Right.
You can move the shooting range to where, like, that little restaurant is on the backside, where, like, you get the waffle breakfast.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You can put the shooting range there. Shooting range doesn't take up a lot of space, though.
No.
And nothing says like the castle with muskets being fired in the background. The Muppets telling the story of the American Revolution, not the war, but like different moments, just to have like a fun way of talking about that history.
I kind of had a similar idea, where it's like we'd focus away from presidents and talk more about the signing of the Declaration of Independence and having a show based on that. And if we wanted to put Muppets in there, I think that would be
fun. It would be fun to have like Rizzo come in there and have his like little moments. I want Rizzo back. I miss him. I like him more than Pepe.
And they brought him back in the show.
Yeah.
At the Muppet Show revival. So
He's in Muppet Babies. That's the show I've been watching a lot with my kid.
Mm.
Oh, the old ones from the 90s?
No, the new one.
The new ones.
There's a new one.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But I just thought it's like, if you're going to keep it as is, I think you have to change it.
I agree.
to have that American story and fit that theming.
Well, yeah, because any idea I had for that theater, I kept thinking, oh, well, they've already covered that in the American Adventure at Epcot. They already did that American.
Yep.
So what can we do that's more centric to that central idea? Is that doing a show just about the beginning of the country? Because they don't really, because the American Adventure basically goes from just after the beginning to modern, whereas they don't really talk about the before.
Yeah,
so
and that's
much.
kind of what I would go with the theming is you pick on 7 points of, you have the Boston Massacre where the propaganda spin and just
Poor
like
Fozzie
and the
Bear,
time.
he's gonna die in that one.
Yeah,
Nice scene.
Fozzie. Or it would be funny to have like you'd have like the destructive guy, blowing up stuff or throwing the fish, that would be funny to be like to kind of like take like a boring subject to some and make it fun.
Correct.
With a overlay of that kind of
and
Muppet style, like have Swedish Chef come out there, like.
And the Muppets had a show in
they
Liberty
did.
Square, and everyone loved it. It only went away because Disney didn't want to pay puppeteers anymore.
And now you got animatronics, so you could, and this may be, like Jim Henson's company. They were on the forefront of so much, and I was like, this is a chance to maybe get back into that for them. And so that was kind of. Like, I think you had mentioned it, and it always stuck with my mind going, that would be great.
Yeah.
It would be really, really good. I feel bad for James, who was working at the Hall of Presidents. He always had presidential, like, kind of trivia, so he would have to come up with, like, Muppet trivia for...
Okay. I think that any other ideas for, like, that Hall of Presidents area? Did you have a different idea, or were you tired just completely demoing it and doing something new?
Probably something new.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I had
did
demo.
You had demo.
I do have one more, like, if you keep the theming, you do Mr. Toad and you do Ichabod Crane kind of, like, theming. If you're just, like, not... If you want to get rid of Hall of Presidents... but kind of bring back something familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back Mr. Toad, Dark
Bring
Ride.
back Mr. Toad,
which
Dark
is very
Ride.
British, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean...
It's same vibes.
It wouldn't be like Liberty Square. It could be like anything else. It'd be like pre-colonial or I don't know what it
Yeah.
would
I think people would be excited if there was an updated
Mr. Toad,
Mr.
right?
Toads, not
Oh,
just cardboard
yeah.
cutouts or whatever, but something more...
It would probably do really well if they
Probably
brought it
would.
back.
It's just one of those, like, it's a fan favorite. I mean, Mr. Toad statues in the Haunted Mansion Cemetery, and then like an Ichabod Crane kind of, theme on the other side. They have a lot of space, and it's tough because they want to keep it open, but it's like it takes up a lot. But I was like, that would be the only way of keeping it how it is and doing a quick like throw in or something like that without doing major changes to it, because sometimes the Imagineers like to do that. And it's like I just threw those two kind of ideas where it's either like change the theming of this or
because for the most part I did demo everything except for the front entry point of the land, so I'm curious to hear what you guys have thought.
Mine will depend upon the depth and the deep pockets that would be needed.
It's blue skies.
Blue
Yeah,
sky.
I know.
Whatever.
possible.
I took out 2 lands. I took out Liberty Square and Frontierland.
Yeah.
I took out that Cars Land doesn't exist in my thing. So, like, I just took over that
Frontierland's
whole
really
area.
sad there. I always thought it was a sad
Oh yeah.
park there.
Well, you got to think about it. It's also an extension of Liberty Square. It's the continuation of the American story. So might as well make the entire land America or whatever. You know what I mean? Just whatever, just American themed and tell American stories. Because there's a lot of good American stories that you can tell with fun attractions, and give Tiana a proper attraction and not just a facelift of an older attraction.
Yeah. Well, I was having a hard time coming up with like new ideas because I was getting distracted with the new like Frontier Cars Land ride and where Villains Land was gonna be going off of kind of behind Haunted Mansion, and I was like trying to figure out what would be a good mix, what would be a good intro, and honestly, I thought let's just do New Orleans Square vibes.
Oh.
Ooh.
Do kind of a mystic New Orleans vibes. Kind
like
of
Mystic Manor or
So
something
you're
like that,
gonna put the Haunted Mansion back in New Orleans.
Yeah, basically. You've got like a...
They did it in the movie.
Yeah.
They had the 2 mansions.
So I think the entrance would be kind of like your typical like downtown New Orleans vibes, like the taller buildings. You got different alleys and shops. I think at Disneyland it's responded very well. It's one of people's favorite thing. And I know when I worked at the company, a lot of people that live in New Orleans go to Disney World to avoid Mardi Gras.
Oh, yeah, New Orleans. It's a different.
Yeah.
It's a different beast. And
it's yeah.
And Universal in Florida really has a strong like Mardi Gras parade and stuff, and I feel like Disney can kind of tip their toes in that vibe, and kind of bring that downtown square. There's a lot more culture, music, you have beignets, it's more of the downtown vibes. And then as you go down towards like the like where Splash Mountain and Frontier, it's more of like you're getting more to the bayou.
Okay.
You still have the
You're
country
going city
bits,
to
city,
bayou.
So the
Transition.
area music would just be like, going down to bayou. Going
Yeah, why
down to
not?
bayou.
So
Farmer Fran's like, I don't know.
So any new attractions, or are these
So-
all stores?
Of course, you would have, as far as attractions, you still have the Haunted Mansion. I still feel like it could fit, like, as a more of, like, mystic or voodoo.
It's that weird in between where it's there.
It can fit. It's kind of like,
It's in the corner.
it really is.
And
And
then
soon won't be, but yeah.
I thought, like, where the Hall of President is, you could do a show, because I still think they need shows.
You need somewhere to escape that Florida heat.
Yeah. So a show, maybe like a voodoo like show or like a gypsy kind of show. Just kind of some like
Gypsy.
I don't know, gypsy vibes. I was thinking
I thought that's a word we're not allowed to use anymore.
I don't. But it could be like, I don't know, just some like fun, like entertainment, like dance show. Yeah, it's hard to like come up with it.
I hear you.
It's tough because you have an entrance into the hub and you're like, how far do I block it off, or how do you create that transition to it?
Right.
Because New Orleans doesn't have that problem at Disneyland.
Right.
You have Frontierland and Adventureland that provide that.
Not quite sure what the new river area is going to look like.
Well,
I
I took it as that doesn't exist in my
as
plan.
far as that, they are doing like a mountain with like a waterfall, and it's more of like I would say like Colorado, Montana vibes.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what is it going to look like if they didn't change Liberty Square. What is that going to look like?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I feel like
they're gonna change
they are
it.
going to change Liberty Square. There's not a doubt in my mind that it's going to go away because
there's no point.
Walking into the land, you're going to see cars driving by, and so it's going to be like.
That's when you go, God bless America.
Do you think they're demolishing it and making it part of the?
They could make it as Villains Land.
No,
that's further.
Ooh, that's too close to the
That's
castle. I
further
think
away. I think
that's what I'm like.
it's on the other side.
Well,
of
that's
the
why
river.
I thought like New Orleans
you'll see
might be a
it.
good
You'll see the
transition.
You might see that change it to like Frontierland and have it like a Frontierland expansion. I could see them doing something like that. If I'm looking at it realistically, that's what I would see them doing. Is just be like, it's now all Frontierland.
Or they could do what your idea was like the Americas.
Right, because
and have like a different part of the America where you can have like the East Coast of America,
well,
right?
Like you walk in and like obviously I'm still keeping that theater for whatever show that we talked about. If it's Declaration of Independence, Muppets, whatever, like that theater still exists. You can still keep that general entry point because that's where the country began. So like that's how you enter the land, is where at the beginning of the country. And so then you can have attractions like a Pocahontas River ride, call it Just Around the River Bend or something like that, like where it's just kind of like have a river rafting ride. You can do like a Headless Horseman coaster, something fun like that.
That's making me think.
Lose your head over it.
You can use that as like a transition point when they build Villains Land. That can be like a transitional attraction there that kind of bend that crosses both lines or something like that. You can give Tiana her own proper attraction, her own dark ride attraction that tells a coherent story, and actually have her restaurant.
Yeah, we need
give
a restaurant.
Tiana her restaurant.
Oh, Pecos Bill could definitely go
yes,
away.
Go away, Pecos Bill.
Yeah, I don't understand.
After that dumpster full of hamburger meat, I was like, never again.
Like, you don't need it.
Let's bring, Tiana's place needs to happen, for sure.
Like, you can do, if you want to get rid of Country Bears, you can put like a Toy Story, Woody's Finest Hour, Woody's Roundup marionette show. Do a little puppet show there. That would be an animatronic show, whatever. That would be something that.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Something to do with that area that still stays within that America theme. To end things, in my view, is because the idea came about because I saw them do this at Star Wars Land. Is if you can write music for an already existing fireworks show, why can't we have 4th of July every single night and have American patriotic music playing?
I like that.
To the fireworks show.
Yeah, during the holidays, the holiday parties, they have different music for different parts of the Magic Kingdom.
So why not have like a patriotic fireworks show that like you can pick, it gives people more options as to how to watch that. Oh, I want to watch the America version because that's more appealing to me, or I want the more Disney version, and that's fine too. And you get two different. I think you're appealing to more people.
Go to Tomorrowland, it's like rave music. It's like, can you feel the bass?
I feel it. But that was kind of my general idea for it, just to expand Frontierland, to make it a part of it, and just make this American-themed section, because that's kind of the inspiration behind it anyways, of... going back to Walt's Disneyland, where it says that, all things that inspired America, and so Disney World kind of falls, Magic Kingdom falls with that similar mindset as well. And so I think having, not just Liberty Square, but an American-themed land where you can have those different stories to be told.
Yeah, reading off 45... different names.
Correct. Not very entertaining.
The show is terrible.
Grover Cleveland. Grover Cleveland again. Stand up. He's like, I'm getting too old for this.
Do your head nod. Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised the show is still going. I'm really surprised.
I'm surprised they haven't ended it sooner, just because of the way politics has turned in the last 10 years.
They've modified it so that now the presidents don't give their own speeches. They now just say the oath to office now.
Oh, they do that now?
Yeah, okay. That's all they do now, is they just say the oath of office.
To me, if they want to continue that, they just need to move it over to Epcot with the American pavilion. I
No,
think.
that show's fine. Leave that show
No,
alone.
leave that show there.
That is a holy for Peter right
Don't
there.
mess with that show.
I'm saying add another show of the presidents. If somebody really wants to keep the presidents, move them out of
Come on, Italy.
the Magic Kingdom.
What was it? Germany's right next to America, right?
Japan and
Japan's on the
right side.
Yeah, I think it's Germany.
Yeah.
Because Italy is
Right.
Italy.
is on the side
It's
right there.
Is it the train?
There's train.
The
yeah.
trains
Transition.
portion? Yeah. The place for a new pavilion that they will never, ever, ever announce.
Here's something that I could see them happening is where they just push Fantasyland over.
Yeah.
You can
I
And
did
they
think
see
that.
Frozen getting thrown in there, something
Yeah.
familiar. And I asked the AI about the acreage of the space, and it fits the space. It would be a little bit off. Yeah, the shape of it, you wouldn't get the same. Like, you have the same acreage, but you don't have, like, the same shape. So they would have to adjust it. But there is quite a bit of space, and like you said, that we don't know how far the river is going, and like you can bleed into Frontierland a little bit, but it would kind of fit closer to the castles theme, and also it bleeds right into like what's going in, that German style kind of cottage theme from Fantasyland,
Right.
Yeah.
and like Haunted Mansion would just go over to Villain's Land.
Yeah.
In that kind of,
Yeah, that was one thing I just didn't know what to do with Haunted Mansion. It was just kind of like
just
this
been
weird.
there, and it's just like we're here, but we're not. Like, yeah, I guess it's kind of they always have like these dates on there where I'm like, that's way before anybody would do. No, I
that's
don't
not
know.
right.
I don't. Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Doesn't matter. It's beloved and you can't touch it.
That
it's
one.
true.
Going back to Walt Disney's quote. No.
It's alive and not the Haunted Mansion. That is not a living place. That is a dead place, and it shall stay. So, yeah, I think a likely thing that they would do is like bleed it over and do have a Frozen theme, because they have so much of the stuff already, and Disney's like, we need something different. Let's just do this.
I would see them doing more. I would see them more likely to do a Zootopia than they would Frozen, because they already have Frozen in Epcot.
Yeah,
And
but
so
I feel
they
like
would more likely-
Zootopia fits more for Animal Kingdom.
I would like to see that more in Animal Kingdom, because Animal Kingdom's like, we need something.
I also thought of maybe doing like Percy Jackson vibe, where it's like a modern like architect, but like there's hidden, like not hidden but subtle, like what's Greek mythology.
I think that'd be better at Epcot, though.
Yeah.
Probably
That would be a fun
that
game
matches like your
at Epcot.
Hercules idea.
Oh, when I did Adventureland, I did like the Hercules training ground playground.
Yes,
They should just put the Matterhorn there, right?
I mean,
that's not a bad idea.
it's
Square footage wise, next to the peak of Cars, that's not a bad idea.
As long as it's the idea that they came up with for Epcot's version of it, I would be on board.
What was that version?
Oh, it's like crazy.
because it's Epcot, and I
Love
love
So
Epcot.
like it was like based the story arc of like you being a part of this not necessarily Olympic, but this bobsled team. And like it's a training course, kind of think like test track, but on bobsleds.
Jamaican bobsled.
So it's gonna be like there's like goofy things to it. So like there's like, as you're riding down, you see like animatronics like jumping out of the way and things like that. So it's like there's a little bit more to it than just like the random Yeti that just pops up. Rawr!
Yeah, because you have that already with Everest.
With Everest, the disco Yeti. Yeah.
So
Tried to magnify it, but I just thought,
As
that's
I said,
not
like,
a bad idea. Like I
if-
never thought about. Why don't you just put like
A
it's next to the
mountain.
just put a giant mountain there. You have the theming of that cottage already in Fantasyland. It fits,
yeah.
and it would kind of block whatever they're doing in Cars Land with them.
yep. And if you
Sticking
need a
out.
path there, it can even go underneath or through the mountain or whatever,
Yeah.
you know, to get through there.
Oh, I like
The only
a
thing is, it
mountain.
would be in front of the castle as opposed to
It's kind of on
to
the
the side of it.
still, isn't
it's
it?
to the side, but it's still ahead.
It's a little
Yeah.
bit, right. Yeah.
Well, again, we're not playing with like the real thing. Like you could just say we're gonna put it right where
Speak
the
for
Rivers of
yourself,
America
Peter.
is. Like,
I'm a Disney secret Imagineer.
because if they're gonna be realistic,
I
they're
knew
most
you were stealing
likely
my ideas.
they're most likely gonna put it in
Mhm.
Epcot than they would anywhere else. But because that's where it was originally intended to be built anyway.
But
Well,
to do a mountain, some sort of mountain.
Well, you had mentioned that before in a previous episode. I talked about turning the Matterhorn into Mount Olympus, and so that's
Right.
what made me think, put the Matterhorn there. If you're going to make it Percy Jackson and mythology, Greek mythology, you could have a Mount Olympus there or whatever, and work off of that. But there might be more room someplace else to do that. My thoughts were kind of more in lines of keeping things kind of like they are now, but repurpose it a
Sure.
little bit different. I like the area because
Yeah.
it's kind of quiet.
It is.
It's away from things, and I thought, well, maybe just making it more themed to the idea of artisans, you know, kind of like the nice shops that you have of the art, Disney art and things like that, and you could have more artists in there and whatever, and then you can retheme the show to be, you can still keep it American with the title of The Pursuit of Happiness. As that, and that goes very well along with the Disney theme, creating the happiest place on earth and so on. And then you go in there and you have a show that honors the Disney legends. And you have Jiminy Cricket as an animatronic, is the host of the show and introduces it to the audience. And then it goes to a two-dimensional screening of some of the history of a particular one that can be rotated through. So you're learning about a different one every time you go there, about one of the Disney legends. And then you go into a closing where it opens up and you get a three-dimensional closing show with a lot of the Disney legends coming out and performing like they were on a stage show, but in the form of like the new ABBA show, ABBA Avatars, where they have the ABBA stars performing in London, and a lot of people go out and say, wow, that was great. I didn't know that they'd spend that much time away from Sweden or whatever to do the show here, and they don't realize it's all
fake.
All AIs or whatever doing it. And I think that it's developed enough to where you could have, you know, the original Mouseketeers come out on that stage and perform a performance of, you know, one of their numbers or whatever. And you could highlight, you know, Fess Parker coming out as Davy Crockett or whatever, straight from the movie, but not necessarily with the wilderness background, but using his character coming out on the stage or whatever. And so it's a three-dimensional show. So you get, you know, so that people can appreciate the artistry that has gone into it. And so you get that magic of Disney right there. And I think there'd be a lot of fans that would enjoy that. You're not just focusing on the Walt Disney story, but you're focusing on all the Disney legends, even though it may be one at a time for a brief moment, and then you kind of close with, you know, Jiminy Cricket singing When You Wish Upon a Star, you know, and leave everybody in that warm feel. Yes.
See, you're designing an area that the Disney fans want.
Yeah.
Not what we're what we're really.
I was
We're
like, boy.
I thought I would love that. That is ideal for me. Did think about, what is this guy on? Nobody wants to have an animatronic of Bob Gurr.
No animatronics. These are more of the AI avatars,
Right.
to where it looks like they're performing on, you know, Dick Van Dyke performing Chim Chim Cheree there,
Carrie Fisher.
right in front of you. Yeah.
Hey, I'm a Disney legend, guys.
You probably wouldn't pick that part, but yeah, I think it would create a magic, and you could repurpose what they already have. However, if you expand it, you may decide we need to make this theater bigger for it to work, and so it may get bigger involved. So that was my thought.
Oh, I did have another thought to kind of bounce off an idea you had, is that I want a proper theater show.
Yeah.
I want a proper theater, because I think every park has one, has like a proper theater there. I guess Epcot technically doesn't. But Animal Kingdom, Studios does. But yeah, I think we just need more live stage shows.
I agree.
And that's harder because of the cost of employees.
I did come up with an idea, but it works off the Haunted Mansion, and I didn't really think about. I forgot that Villain's Land's going back there and all that, but I was like, what if we had a Nightmare Before Christmas theme there?
Oh,
where you do Halloween Town.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And
that would be huge, just because there's this huge following.
And it would transition into
Mansion
Villain's Land. Wow.
And you could do the New Orleans, like where Frontierland is. It would just go into that. So you'd have this creepy part, and people could, like, how Harry Potter Land, they walk into the town and they're immersed in it. I think people would really like to have that Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween Town.
It's already a proven...
It's a
concept.
huge fandom.
And you go where the Hall of Presidents is, you'd have like Oogie Boogie, like kind of like the Ratatouille thing, but just like you're going through where, you have like the three characters that capture Santa Claus, and you're trying to escape, Oogie Boogie, and he goes to the song. I think that would be really fun. And then the restaurant, you could have like Sally, or the freaking like the doctor's like lab, and you can have like a fun themed meal there. I think that would be the most fun that I think fans would respond.
Oh yeah, they're already
would really like. Oh wow, this is something, like you said, it's proven to where people like it. It's here. It's part of Disney.
I don't understand that fandom, but I can see that it's huge.
And I think it would be fun to walk into, like, I'm not a super huge fan of Halloween, like, or the Nightmare Before Christmas, but I think it would be cool to walk into a Halloween Town and seeing some of the
Halloween Town with Debbie.
No. Isn't that what it is with what is it called?
It's called Halloween Town.
Yeah, I was always like, oh
Disney
no, did
Channel.
I missay something in my tired
My
stay?
mind went to Disney Channel.
So did mine. Mine went to Disney Channel too. That's why I was thinking, is that the name of the town? Is it really?
Yeah, I was thinking you'd think too, and I was like, I think it'd just be fun. And you have the character meet and greets, and it's just a fun place to have Halloween year round.
Well, they start Halloween parties in August,
and that would just be the epic center of like the Halloween party right there.
Might as well have Halloween year round there at Disney World.
I just thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, I like that.
That's good.
I think it's more likely for that one.
And then with my parade at Christmas, where
Christmas
Nightmare,
Halloween.
Christmas versus Halloween battle. Oh man, it would start.
Santa versus
You would have one parade come from one direction, and then this parade comes from here, and they would just battle at the.
And then as they get their Halloween Town, so like, kidnap the Santa.
And they're carrying the Santa Claus, and like the Santa Claus elves are coming into the hub to get Santa, and there's the battle. Yeah, you have this battle of the hub. Yeah. There it is.
That's the idea.
That's the idea. I just want my parade to come back to life.
I guess.
We're going to have to republish that episode.
Yeah.
That's an older episode.
Yeah, you're all like, it was the episode like, how do we make the Christmas parade better? And I'm all like, put Halloween in there.
Right. Well, I think we came up with a lot of fun ideas what to do with that land. Obviously, we already know what's kind of happening over there. They're building the Cars land, and behind that, they're doing the New Villains land. But we still don't quite know if they're going to do anything with Liberty Square. We'll probably find out probably soon, because I have a feeling it's going to change.
That whole side of the park is going to change.
Yeah. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens, but let us know what you think. What are some of your ideas? What would you like to see in a reimagined Liberty Square? Let us know on all of our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, X. But with that being said, auf Wiedersehen. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember...
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.